Hello awesome viewers, welcome to AC Studio. Today I'm really proud to share one of the best things I've ever built. My scratch build fully articulated Canoptek Spyder. As my followers know from watching my videos, I like to make vehicles to complement my 1/18 scale Joytoy action figure collection. This Spyder is actually my 7th scratch build vehicle. And as you know, my most famous project to date is the Land Raider, but this thing is far better than the Land Raider. And for those who don't know, the Canoptek Spyder is a Necron construct, a fearsome machine creature that maintains and repairs Necron's army. Its design is intricate, mechanical, and organic creature, just like a spider, making it one of the most challenging pieces to attempt in model form. This is, in fact, my very first action figure build. Completing the Spyder requires taking it through all the difficulties, and that's what makes this build so meaningful. And as always, I did not use 3D printing. This Spyder is built entirely out of Mountboard and Paperboard. So if you follow my Instagram, you always can able to see what I'm working on, and you can also see how I built each element and put things together. Eventually becomes this Spyder. And also, for the first time, I used wired to do joints for articulation. Well, scratch building is a very different challenge compared to 3D printing. In 3D software, you can preview the final model before you even print it. With scratch building though, I have to imagine the whole thing in my mind and build towards that vision. And it takes a 3D dynamic mindset in order to build a Spyder. And that's exactly why I also find it challenging, but I really enjoyed it. Canoptek Spyder geometry is extremely complex. Curved surfaces and various layers and multi-linked articulation. And that, made this one of the hardest builds I've ever done. If you look around online, you'll find plenty of Space Marine vehicles, whether scratch build or 3D print, but almost nobody takes on an organic creature. Well, I can tell you, as a model maker, this Spyder, even though it's not really big size, it is simply too demanding. Anyway, at first I was going to do a review of my Catacomb Command Barge, but once I finished the Spyder, I realized that my skills had improved so much that I need to go back and upgrade the barge before I can properly present it to you guys. So today, the Spyder takes the spotlight. Necrons, to me, they are fearsome, mysterious, and have that unmistakable ancient Egyptian influence in the design. And I'll show you the plate features, mainly articulation, and you'll be surprised how many points of articulation is in this Spyder. Alright, let's jump into it. First, I'm going to show you the design and the elements or the parts before I go into the articulation or the play features. Games Workshop design is based on the wheel Spyder. So you have a head, and then the middle part, technical term called the cephalothorax, which is the middle part of the Spyder, which all the legs are attached to. The part here is the abdomen. So you can see I captured most of the details, that you can see on the miniature model. But I also changed the design a little bit. For example, the headpiece, this part's supposed to be more curved in. But in this one, I kind of changed it to curve out because I like the head to be a little bit wider, and also the joints to the legs here as well. I changed the design a little bit. Instead of having recessed detail, I actually raised the detail and also painted it, silver. So give the figure a little bit more, pattern looking decoration. So you can see the joints of legs all have patterns on it, just to make this rather big model a little bit more exciting. As you know, this is just a very small miniature, so that when everything compares together, it always looks better, right? But what happens is when you upscale the model, the whole model will become very plain. So that is why you need to add a little bit more detail sometimes to it. And what makes this element unique is the interesting spine go all the way to the back, and then it comes to the spinnerets. And the wheel Spyder have the spinnerets, but doesn't have the spine here. But this Games Workshop design is so cool that it got this very interesting spine design in it. And when you watch the construction videos that I'm gonna upload later on, build this part, and then also this part separately. If I put these two spines together onto the abdomen, so you can see on the top side, there are various elements that I need to put together one by one. And of course, the process is painstakingly slow, but it's pretty rewarding after you've done all this. And consider I never challenged such a complex geometry before, so all this come together really nicely. So I'm very satisfied that I've made it. And then look at the bottom part. So you can see I actually have a stand like this to put it in here, right? This hole here. I have extra holes for other reasons, but this is the main stand that I use to support the model, and I try to make that stand as small as possible so that you don't really see that easily. It's actually made of aluminum wire, the same wire I use for the joints. So I'm going to show you that in a separate video or later on in this video. So this is actually fixable like this, you see. So that means I can actually move around. So this material is very easy to use, very simple, and it works very effectively, right? To me, this works better than any stand such as the Bandai Gundam or figure stand, or even the stand from Joytoy, because this is actually very small and in black, and it is not obvious, and it is also flexible. So you don't see that very easily, yeah? But the tricky part for me to find the center of gravity of this figure, and eventually it is somewhere around here, which is actually almost the same as the miniature model, because they actually have a stand there as well. This is the bottom of the Spyder. So the bottom is very complicated. So you can see in the middle there's an energy emitting sphere, and 6 hands, mechanical hands, and all these are also made of Mountboard and Paperboard. So the first 2 hands, as per the miniature model, are the claws. So and another one here, yeah. And then here in the middle, I think they got some kind of like injection, I don't know, a needle or whatever. So I think it is used to catch something, and then you start doing dissection or operation on it, on the prey. Another needle here, and then you also got this hand, which I'm not too sure what it is for, and it can actually hold a Space Marine head in it. So let me put it together. Very interesting play feature that I utilize electrical cables, and that is how it looks like. And then you just walk or flow and it comes along. Pretty cool. Yep. Then the bottom of the abdomen, you can see there's energy emitting lights. So this is how it looks like, and they got all these holes here. Got this funny, I don't know what it is, a clip, which also has the articulation. So you can see that's how it looks like. So I think this is for releasing swarms, which I'm gonna do at later date, and how it looks like in the miniature. But because I saw a joint in the miniature, so that I add an articulation into the into this clip or cramp or whatever you call. So that is how it looks like. Pretty cool. Yeah. And now I'm gonna show you the articulation. And you know what? Even though this is a scratch build model made of Mountboard and Paperboard, and also using wires, it is a fully articulated model or a scratch build toy. You will be surprised by the number of articulation in this Spyder. So on the head, you got the beads or the mandibles, which you got 2, which can open and close, also can open and close, and even this one can move in and out, open and close. And also the head also slightly move like this, so I could give the head a little bit more of articulation. When I take photos, together with the enemies such as Space Marine, it's more fun this way. And also the neck, you can actually move up and down. It is a multi-directional movement. You can see the range of movement is amazing, yeah. And there are 2 joints on the legs, so there are 8 legs, right? So there are 1 joint here, so you can actually swing down like this. You can see the range of articulation is pretty amazing. And then also here as well, you can actually move out and down. Yep, like that. And then also these legs, you can actually rotate like this as well. So you can do this, something like 30 degrees on each side. On the rest of the legs, right, the remaining 6, you also can do this. You can actually go down as well, like that. See, you can actually rotate quite a lot. And also here, you can actually move out quite a lot, and also move down quite a lot as well. And this pipe is designed to be detachable, just in case I don't want to break it, so that when it comes to a certain limit, just let it loose, and then when it comes back to the normal position, I can just put it back like that. Pretty easy, right? Joint between the abdomen and the body itself, you can actually rotate like this. You see, that's pretty amazing, isn't it? You can actually do a 45 degrees angle, right? And if I move the rear 2 legs down, so allow this to move around, right? So I move this one and move this one down, I can actually rotate like this. So you can see how crazy this movement really is. So I can do this and that, that is pretty amazing, yeah. Also, you can actually move down like this as well. So you can see this is a fully articulated joint, just like the head as well, you know, just like that. You know, you can do all this movement, right? And that is not it. If you look at the bottom, do you remember I previously showed you the claws? You know, the claw can actually open in and out as well, and the other one like that as well. Yeah. Also, each mechanical arms, it has a joint here as well, so you can see it can move around. Same as that one, you can actually do move around, go in, out. Same as that one, in, out. Same as the claw, you know, you can actually move in, out like this. Yeah, so you can see all the mechanical claws and arms can be articulated. And so now you can see the articulation on this model is absolutely stunning. And you know, the total number of articulation is, let me count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and then at the bottom, 26, 7, 8, 9, 30, 31, and then 32, 33, 34, and 35. There are a total of 35 articulation points in this scratch build model. And if I actually include these 3 tentacles, right, as articulation, that will be another 3 articulation, and that will be a massive 38 points of articulation in this scratch build action figure. So as a very first action figure, this Canoptek Spyder is definitely one hell of a challenge. It's not just about the form itself, right? It is about problem solving and also how to do the articulation. So a high level of craftsmanship. Otherwise, there's no way this thing can be done. There's no way, you know, people can able to see this Canoptek Spyder in this scale, and with so many, you know, play features and articulation as well. And honestly, a bit surprised with how this Canoptek Spyder turned out. I feel like it really shows the pinnacle of my problem solving and creative skills and craftsmanship. And after this experience, you know, I am pretty confident that I can take on not just vehicles, but action figures in the future. The articulation came out far better than expected, with an amazing range of movement that lets me create exactly the poses I imagined, especially in interaction with the Space Marines and the Land Raider, as you can see here, right? That was something that I really want to achieve, and it is so satisfying to see this build actually pull it off. If you enjoyed the video and think my works deserves it, please give this video a like to support this little channel and my work. And if you'd like to support me even further, a super thanks would really help me continue creating even better projects in the future. And after this Canoptek Spyder, I can tell you that I'm much more ambitious than before. So I have plans to create even more interesting 1:18 scale Warhammer vehicles and figures. Now comes to the end of this video, and if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do. Keep track if you want to see more interesting work from me. Anyway, I'll talk to you in the next video. Thank you and bye for now.